live? Hopefully it should go through. Yes, looks like it is. Are we showing the screen? What are we seeing?
Can you please give me the host access?
Yes, I have made you co-host. Okay. It says click to join, and it is saying starting soon. Let me see on YouTube whether it is showing the live. Yes, it's showing the screen. Yeah, it is showing everybody. Okay, we're good. Take it away. We're ready, guys. We're live.
Fatima, take it away. I'll kick off after.
I made my Fatima co-host. I think everybody is here co-host now. We're ready for a beautiful panel. We need to stop the share so we can see my Fatima and we can get started, guys. Fantastic.
Fatima, you're on mute. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to IoTWoman 2025 South Asia panel. It's such an honor to be here with all of you today and celebrating innovation, diversity, and incredible power of technology to create meaningful change. This year theme is Unapologetically You, and through today's discussion, we will be amplifying voices from South Asia who are reshaping tech landscape with AI, IoT, and everything in between. Before we dive in, I am Mala, lead for this session, and Fatima is also lead for this session as well. Fatima will also be sharing some thoughts on AI translations and how technology is helping bridge not just the languages, but people and culture. I would like to introduce the panelists today. Let me now introduce our amazing panelists who bring powerful and lived experiences from across South Asia. And all of the panelists, I would like you to come over and then just say hi as I introduce you to Yashwini Vishmaya, Embodied AI. Welcome, Yashwini. Yashwini is a senior researcher focused on machine learning, generative AI, and agent AI. She's also a strong advocate for gender equality in research and actively mentors early career professionals to grow with confidence and curiosity. Amazing work, Yashwini. Welcome. And Srilekha. Thank you. Srilekha, Language AI. Srilekha is a talented developer from Chennai, India, with over a decade of experience in tech, a working mom, a writer, and a lifelong learner. She brings a grounded and thoughtful perspective to the question, is AI actually solving problems or creating more? Welcome, Srilekha. Divya, AI, IoT helping in gender equality. Divya is passionate advocate of gender equality and explores how AI and IoT can be used to build more inclusive world. She believes in power of technology to uplift and empower. And we can't wait to hear your insights in this interesting topic. Divya, say hi to all of us. Welcome. So that being said, with all of that being said, thank you for amazing panelists. I would like to hand over to our first speaker, Yash. Yash, to come and take over the screen.
Hi, everyone. It's a beautiful morning here. And good morning to everybody. Good evening to wherever you are. I'm Yashaswini Vismaya from Bangalore, India. And I'm a researcher here, AI researcher. I work at LTI Mindtree, and I'm a part-time PhD student where I do research on machine learning. And today, I'm going to bring the topic embodied AI to all of you here, and let's have a great discussion. So, first of all, embodied AI. What is embodied AI? It's a new word that's ringing in your head. So, it's something very, we have heard about embedded AI, but this is embodied AI. So, it is systems that integrate into physical bodies that can integrate with the world and learn from experience. So, what is the first thing that comes to mind when we think about physical body? It's a robot, right? It's a robot. So, let us learn more about it. What is the difference between embodied AI and traditional AI? See, in traditional AI, we have a soft nature of AI, whereas in embodied AI, there is a physical interaction with the environment and there's a real time sensory feedback. When we talk about sensory feedback, we all know that vision, the different senses that are there for a robot, how it senses the temperature, how it senses the ambient light, how it senses the oxygen, or how it senses movement. So these are the various sensory things that are available in the market now for a robot to function. And let us see how we can plug AI into this and make an embodied AI. So the key components of embodied AI are perception. So it perceives the outside environment, decision making. When we give these robots power to do something, we are giving them the decision making ability. Like, for example, you have a robot which goes inside the house and cleans your house. That robot will be having the planning, where to go, what to do. It will take decision on its own. Action. It uses sensors, algorithms, and actuators. Actuators means what will enable the action. Say, for example, if you have a sweeping robot, the actuator will be the vacuum thing and it will have some small wheels using which it can move and capture the dust particles. So now let us see the history of embedded AI. We have known that robotics are there from many years. Okay, like earlier, the quest for humans to make robots that are just like humans, what we call humanoids, have been there since many decades. And robots also have evolved. Initially, they were just doing tasks, and now they can understand the human language. They can talk the human language. They are humanoid in form. And when we talk about robots, the first thing that comes into our mind is autonomy. How autonomous are they? Are they able to take decisions on their own? Or do they just follow the instructions that is pre-recorded there? We have all heard about HCI, human computer interaction. But have you heard about the term human robot interaction? It is HRI, human robot interaction. That is how the humans collaborate with the robots for simple tasks or tasks that we want the robots to do. But don't worry, robots will not overtake the world in another few decades. It is all there in development and in research. Yeah, it is there in the real market also, but to an extent that it is still submissive to what the humans want it to do. We touched upon the core components of embodied AI. So first of all, it is the sensors for perception. That's the most important thing. It can perceive the environment. Actuators for action. And there's a processing unit. So let me repeat it. There's a sensor, there's an actuator, and there's a processing unit. So it senses, the AI algorithm will tell what to do, and the actuator will do. This is the complete embodied AI. So now, what are the different types of sensors that are there? Say something like visual sensors is something that we see everywhere, like cameras. It interprets the environment, like object recognition, navigation, detection. Then there is, the ones related to the environment, light, temperature, and all of that. What about if you have used Alexa, then you know that it can hear. Alexa can hear what we are trying to talk. So it responds to voice commands, enables communication. When we discuss about actuation, what are the different actuators? What enables actions? Motor systems. We know motor systems, there are complex joints for walking. Then the grippers and manipulators. Like if you see a warehouse robot or a factory robot, it has to pick something and keep it somewhere else. So this is a gripper. It's a gripper and manipulator, something like human hands. Then we have pneumatic and hydraulic systems. These they put certain amount of force, like lifting and taking heavy object. These are all seen in the warehouse. So when we talk about the AI algorithms, we saw sensory, we saw actuator, and now it's the AI algorithm. We have the machine learning algorithm, where the embodied AI learns from experience, improving performance over time. But the main crucial element here is the reinforcement learning, where the human gives the feedback as reward points to the robot, and the robot takes corrective action and keeps improving and improving and improving. Computer vision. Computer vision algorithms are very crucial to understand what is going on in the environment. There has been lots and lots of improvement in computer vision algorithms from the days of UNet, ResNet, VGGNet. There has been very good progress in that space, and to an extent that they can actually identify the things now. We were discussing about human-robot interaction. So what about it? Gesture and voice recognition. What if I say, stop? Just stop. Will it understand? Will the robot understand the sign stop, the gesture stop? Improving communication collaboration. What about somebody is a special abled person and cannot talk? If they just say stop, will the robot understand stop? Social and emotion recognition. How crucial is this? What is the human being feeling? At the end, that is what matters, right? The robot is to understand us, not just the commands that we give. See, it may not be there in the current scenario, but one day in the future, it should surely be there. Collaboration in shared tasks. So basically, the robot helps in cleaning, caregiving, and even some industrial applications. So basically, it augments the human being. It does not replace the human being. Robots will not take over the world. Robots will not replace the human beings. They just augment it, augment human beings and help human beings in some things. Now, thinking about embodied AI and machine learning, let us merge these two concepts. See, we have training through interaction. That is, they interact by learning the environment, they receive feedback, improve actions. When we talk about this, there are two concepts: exploration, exploitation. In reinforcement learning, first they explore. They keep trying all the possibilities. And the best one they pick and they keep doing it repeatedly. That is exploiting. Exploring, exploiting. There are two important concepts. Then adaptability and self-improvement. Machine learning allows robots to adapt to new environments. See, the cleaner robot, it would have got trained in the factory or at the manufacturer. But in whichever house you put, it will still clean the house, right? It is adapting to new environments, making them versatile and effective over time. We saw about reinforcement learning where we have the trial and error learning. It understands by trial and error. There are rewards and penalties. You do the correct action, you get a reward. You do the wrong action, you get a penalty. The robot gets a penalty, and it does a long-term optimization, maximum efficiency and accuracy in completing the task in a long term. It's not like now the next task, the next task. In the long run, it will do very good. We were discussing about the embedded AI in robotics. So one is autonomous navigation. Say you have a warehouse robot and you want the robot to go over the warehouse, bring stuff to you. It has to avoid the obstacles. It has to know the landscape. It has to go plan the routes and all of that. Physical interaction with objects. See, they have to manipulate objects, perform tasks such as lifting it, or in the near future or in the far future, however the development goes on, caregiving, if the caregiving has to be done by the robot, self-monitoring and correction. See, this is what embodied AI is all about. The robot reflects on itself. They monitor their performance and real-time corrections to improve their effectiveness. There are certain applications in healthcare, but those are debatable, like surgical assistance. We have robot surgery even here in Bangalore. Some of the hospitals, they advertise about it. We have robot surgeries. They give precision control during delicate procedures. Then during rehabilitation and therapy, physical therapy, adapting to their progress over time. Then caregiving for the elderly, assisted living. I'm just sowing the seeds, but when this will actually happen is something that we cannot predict. And whether it will happen or not happen, to what extent it will happen, those are things that only time can tell. Autonomous vehicles. So we have self-driving cars, real-time decision making, vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So self-driving cars is where the cars can actually drive by themselves on the real streets. Okay, this is something that's already there in US, and Sudha keeps chasing them, and we keep seeing that in many of the weekly vets. And there's a course also in Business School of AI where I took the course on AV. So here, the autonomous vehicles takes real-time decisions. Like say, it has to, if there is something coming on its way, it has to take like, is it safe to go ahead? Is it safe to stop? What is it that it has to do? And vehicle-to-vehicle communication. See, this is very important in traffic flow to avoid accidents where there is vehicle-to-vehicle communication. This is called VANETs, Vehicular Area Networks. And this is there for the last 15 years maybe. And there has been constant improvement in this space. Manufacturing automation. This is something that's very easy to understand. There's an assembly line and there are robots which will help in creating certain products, improves the speed and accuracy. There's precision and quality control by monitoring the process and making adjustments, and collaboration with the human workers. It will not remove the human workers. The human workers will be there and they'll be doing a different type of work. They'll be doing a different type of work. Maybe not the rudimentary, the repetitive thing, but they will surely have a supervision. They will surely have QC, quality control, or they will have a different kind of job from what they have now. Service robots like delivery robot, KiwiBot. KiwiBot is a robot that does delivery. It gives certain things that is ordered by through it. The famous example is the boba tea. So there's customer service robots, like providing information assistance, like generally in the hotels, right? This is the new thing that they keep a robot there, and the robot will be like a receptionist. The cleaning robots that we discussed about. Then embodied AI in education, interactive learning robots. This is something that is in the research. At how can we have robots in the education sector to offer personalized learning, where teachers cannot be there and where there is a lack of teachers? Then how do we come up with these robots and give the quality education that truly kids deserve? Then simulation based learning. Just put a complex environment and simulate it so that the kids will learn it. Then robotic tours, like guiding them through subjects and adjusting lessons based on progress. There are surely ethical considerations, and we have to be cognizant about it, not to unleash robots to take over the world. So embodied AI systems, those with cameras, microphones, they raise concern about data collection and privacy. So that is something that is to be borne in mind when creating such systems. Determining who is responsible when AI makes a mistake, who is accountable. Is it the person who developed the robot, the person who deployed the robot, the person who is using the robot? Who is responsible when the robot makes a mistake? It's an critical ethical question. The impact on employment. I kept telling it will not remove the jobs, but the jobs will be different. So this is called job displacement. So what do we do about that? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves and come up with certain strategies to mitigate the risks. Safety in embodied systems, fail-safe mechanisms. Say you have a robot that is doing critical stuff for you and it fails. There has to be an emergency shut-off switch. Collision detection and avoidance. What happens when they are interacting with others? There has to be a lot of mechanisms. Continuous monitoring is something that we saw already. Human-like movement in robots, that is bipedal locomotion, walking on 2 feet. So the reason why they walk on 2 feet is the world is designed like that. The world is designed for 2 feet people. So even the robots, when they become 2 feet robots, they tend to navigate the world very easily. Robotic arms and dexterity. Delicate manipulations such as picking up fragile items, that is possible if they have dexterity in their robotic arm. Gait control and posture control. See, basically, even they have to balance. They cannot keep falling down. That's more harm than any good, right? If the robots themselves cannot take care of themselves. Multimodal perception. So this is something that has been gaining a lot of research in the last 2 years, where you have a combination of vision, sound, and touch. And all these things put together, they give the input to the robot. And environmental awareness. The robots that were there earlier and the robots that are there now, they're so much more cognizant about the environment. And the improvement in the human-robot interaction. That by itself, using voice commands, gestures, touch. So these are all having new kinds of human-robot interaction. Then cognitive architectures. So basically, when we have a robot, we try to make a robot that thinks like the human thought process, so that they solve complex problems that humans put forth to them. Memory and learning systems. This is like, okay, we have memory, even the robot should have memory. We learn, even the robot should learn. We take decisions, even the robot should take decisions. We problem solve, even they should solve problems. So we are trying to mimic the human beings and say, this is what we do and this is what our robot should do. And in this embodied AI, right, we always have simulated environment for training, virtual training spaces, safe testing grounds, scenario-based training. What if this happens? There's a very famous trolley problem, right? There's a very famous trolley problem, which is used in psychology, which is used in ethics, which is used in reinforcement learning everywhere. You can look up to that. It's a very famous problem. And these are the questions that people get asked when they're designing it, when they're developing it, when they're deploying it, and when they're using it. Now, moving on, what are the challenges in embodied AI development? It is like trying to do the human-like behavior. That is a very big thing. It's not something that will happen in a split of a second, in 1 year, in 2 years. It's going to take decades. It has taken decades and it will take decades. And limitation in sensory accuracy. How accurate is it? And can it sense everything that's there? There is so much more than sound and touch and vision and energy efficiency. This is something that we have to think of because they cannot keep guzzling a lot of energy. Energy is something precious, right? It is something that is finite, that is just coming from our natural resources, and we cannot keep exhausting them. So this is something that we need to keep in mind, the energy efficiency of them. And the role of robot learning, where the robot, they use reinforcement learning to improve performance. They transfer that learning from one domain to another domain, allowing them adapt to multiple new tasks and self-improvement algorithms. So the last one that I want to discuss is the moral decision making that I told. They face ethical dilemmas that require them to take decisions that align with human values. What about transparency? How transparent are these robots and how they make the decision? Because unless they tell, unless they explain, this is how I took this decision, people will not trust it. And unless there is trust, there will not be widespread usage of it. So transparency breeds trust, trust breeds usage, usage breeds revenue. Fairness. They have to operate without bias. Bias against races, genders, capabilities, colors, everything. Without bias, ensuring fairness in human-robot interactions. This is very, very crucial. So I will just sow some seeds into the future of embodied AI, which may happen in the coming future. That is different ways of human-robot interaction and collaboration, sensory and actuation capabilities, delicate for doing delicate and complex tasks, and widespread adoption across industries. So I leave you with these beautiful thoughts, and always remember the AI safety of robots is very important, and humans come first. We come first. It's not the technology that matters, but it is us, the human beings, who come first. Are they safe? Are they taken care of? Do they trust? Are they feeling well? Is what every designer and developer should think of when creating these systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. That was a wonderful speech. Now I would like to welcome Sri Lekha on the podium.
Yeah, hi. Let me share my presentation. Yeah, hope it's visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm starting. Okay, First and foremost, I would like to thank Susanna Raj and SouthAsia for giving me a voice and to present over here and to share space with all these amazing women. So my topic for today is AI solving problems or creating more when it comes to language? A little context about me. I'm a developer from Chennai, India. I come from Tamil community, one of the oldest speaking languages like Greek and Sanskrit. It's more of a living civilization than a community. I'm a mom, a writer, and a content creator by passion. A little context on the topic that I'm about to speak today. Recently, one of my ChatGPT hallucination video went viral, getting 2.8 million views and still counting, where I was using ChatGPT to generate a random Tirukural every day. To explain what Tirukural is, it's a piece of Tamil literature that was written by Thiruvalluvar between 2nd and 5th century BC. He made entire life wisdom available in 2 lines, and each chapter has 10 kural. So he made short form content way before even it was a thing, just like TikTok and Reels. Yes, the image on the left slide was given in our textbooks, but his aura probably would be like the one on the right side. Initially, ChatGPT generated legitimate kurals until one day it made up a kural like so. Inmain innada Tituiram, vanmain vanpirar kanapadum. So this ChatGPT version of Kural says that those who suffer from poverty suffer in silence, but suffering endured by strong people, meaning the ones at the top, or visible to the entire world. Sounds like a piece of literature, right? Probably we would resonate with this ideology too. I cross-checked this with the actual text. This was a hallucinated Kural. What Thiruvalluvar said was poverty is the biggest suffering a human can face in the world. He never made a comparison to the struggles faced by the poor and the rich. So what I did was paste this hallucinated Kural across AI platforms and had them guess what it is. And that was actually the funny part because each AI had its own fillers with their own explanation and it gave out a legitimate number, which I cross-checked with the book. So ChatGPT said this Kural was 1049. WhatsApp said it was 453 or 452. Instagram Meta AI said it was 983. DeepSeek said it was 99 and Gemini said it was 1042. But this is not the first time. 2 years back, a user has already posted an entire hallucinated Adhikaram on Reddit where only the first Kural was correct, rest 9 are hallucinations. It's not like this piece of literature doesn't exist in digital form. It does. And clearly, if ChatGPT can generate a correct Tirukural, there shouldn't be any gaps available for an existing data. And it's not like there aren't any alternatives to local language AI. We do. There are many AI language-based tech companies in my local language, Tamil. What's the issue, then you may ask? Why didn't I look up a Tirukural there? I was not aware of any AI product specifically for Tamil language since ChatGPT was the most popular one. And B, I searched all Tamil language AI and repeated the same experiment once again. I was able to get into some conclusions. So I've got only 2 options. If it converses like ChatGPT, it hallucinates like ChatGPT because every other language AI out there is a derivative of ChatGPT. You can see me getting another number and the same meaning of hallucinated Kural saying it's 25th Kural here. And another product saying it's 1069 Kural. The legitimate ones, I said, were just glorified chatbots. It would not acknowledge my query. It just says its own thing, and that's it. Plus, this is not the only piece of literature available in Tamil. There are n number of literature pieces. So creating n number of AI is not possible, and it's not good from an environmental perspective either. So pieces that we haven't heard about, let alone the undigitized ones that remain as palm leaf scripture still today. AI made a major impact on every sector. This tool can be used effectively if there are accurate, unbiased data sets with no gaps. Frankly speaking, there aren't any such data out there. AI is playing a significant role in digitizing and preserving old manuscripts, digitizing palm leaf script literature. We have AI-powered OCR scanners converting physical Tamil text into digital formats, making them searchable and analyzable. We have so many government initiatives that's on the horizon so as to implement AI for language and culture preservation. So we come into the territory of responsible AI. To be frank, I haven't come across the terminology until now. Most of the people from my community found it funny. Some of them even shared their own versions of hallucinations. Some AI enthusiasts blamed it on my prompt, and some brushed it off, dismissing it as hallucinations. It was scary as some teachers and students even relied on ChatGPT for their studies and also to teach. Some were afraid that this might rewrite history, and if we remain ignorant and not learn the history ourselves. Responsible AI seems like a more generalized way of approaching ethics and governance in AI. I think responsible AI is more a concept that should be tailored to each sector. There are many challenges and limitations when we try to implement AI to language-based LLM models. We have historical data degradation due to physical damage in the scriptures. We have technical debt. We need to create more awareness on the hallucinations in AI. Not to mention, if there are biases existing within the historical data, the AI model will adhere to it and spread the same, creating polarizations within the communities. So what might be the solution? When it comes to responsible AI within language, we have gaps, since all civilization and community have a varied form of data storage. So tailored to this, data level gaps need to be filled by diverse set of language scholars and literature people. AI is not a replacement to humans. It's meant to be an ally, trying to give us a new perspective rather than solely relying on it. In fact, at this stage, involving huge data sets needs huge amount of governance, moderation, validation checks in place to fill in the gaps, reduce hallucination in order to make the system more efficient. I would like to conclude by quoting a Thirukural, Nadorum Nadaga Mannan, Vinay Saivan, Kodame Kodadu Ulagu. Like, it's the duty of the leader to ensure that the work is done ethically and in a responsible manner so that the world will not deter into chaos. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Lekha. That was a wonderful example of hallucinations. Interesting, especially I can understand Tamil, so I can see and value and respect that. So it's interesting to see the hallucination. Now I'm going to show the recording from Fatima, one of our speakers. Can you all hear? Can you give me a thumbs up if you
can't hear.
Can you help me what may be going on?
Are you able to hear it on your computer?
Yes, I can.
You want to stop the share, try it again. And you don't have it, yeah.
I can share the screen and I can, it's a, hold on, I'm going to give one more.
While we are waiting, Sri Lekha, can I ask you a question?
Hi, yes.
Yes. That whole the hallucination that it did with Kural, that was amazing. do you think, I saw the way you took that conversation was to say that, we should not be, think about the preservation, get more data so that it will not hallucinate, right? That was the thought process. But I was just thinking, um, a new person who sees that Kural uh, might not understand that it is hallucinating, right? So, is it possible that, is it like fair to say, I know it's an old language and there is an existing literature? People get excited and say, oh, Gen AI is making this art, Gen AI is making this new picture, and they get very excited about that. But I was just thinking, when Gen AI is taking an existing poetry and then it makes a new poetry, um, is it really creating poetry other than the fact that it's hallucinating because that Qural didn't exist? Is there any value to the created new Qural in this case? Was it like meaningless, or what was bothering you in the first place when you said this is hallucinating? I don't believe this, right? Why are you upset because it was impersonating Thiruvalluvar and making a new Qural? Or were you upset that this was gibberish, right? It was trying to say being poverty, but from the eyes of a rich person. What was the problem in there?
I was not upset, so I found it funny initially, since it was able to mimic the exact. He lived around 2nd and 5th century BC. If ChatGPT is able to mimic a person from that time period, it it's actually a commendable thing. Nobody can do that. And it's able to write a verse just like him, and nobody can differentiate what's the difference between the real and the uh, created one. From AI perspective, yes, this is something like, wow, it's able to create one in Tamil. That's too awesome. That kind of feel. But when it comes to a language that deeply resonates within a big community, and specifically if there are people who like are deep into the language, some some people in the community might get offended. So, and they'll think like, if ChatGPT is able to write its own Kural, tomorrow if there is any historical event, it might also hallucinate with that. And if the current generation they are reading, or if they are going through with AI, they might not know what happened there. So possibilities of rewriting history is also there, right?
Okay. Sorry, Mala, is it possible to stop the share? It looks like Fatima is talking about the Quran. Well,
Sure.
because we have a screen. Sorry. So, the fact that it was not a fact, that it was not the truth. So it is basically, what you had a word for it, saying degrading the language, degradation of the language, right? So then it could mix up and make up new Qural, looking Qural. So down the line there will be so much content. It's like the fake news versus real news is now applied to languages. Looks like it from what we are seeing. If
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because I've seen some published research by Himabindu Lekkaraju, and I think Yashashwini was the one who brought it to my attention, that uh, ChatGPT and other LLMs, they hallucinate more for low resource languages. Of course, Tamil is not technically a low resource language because it has a lot of literature from 5,000 years, but it doesn't have enough English translation in the sense of uh, machine translation. And so it must be hallucinating more for languages that are considered low resource languages. So that also puts them more at risk of being kind of discriminated against. So this is fantastic. Thank you so much. I don't want to take more of your time. I'm going to make sure that Mala takes on and brings us Fatima's presentation. Thank you so much. A good talk should make us think. So, and you did that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Can you hear it now? Can you all hear the video?
No, we cannot. I think it's calling for Fatima to speak for real.
Yes, Divya, do you want to switch to yours and then while I figure out the video sharing?
Do you want me to try sharing Fatima's video and see if you can
Yes,
hear?
please.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Because I'm able to hear it on my computer, so it's a very good talk. I would definitely want you all to benefit from it. Okay, so here is Fatima. Okay.
I'm truly honored to be speaking with you all on
Okay, I'm going to go to the beginning. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. My name is Fatma Zafar Malik and I'm from Pakistan. I'm truly honored to be speaking with you all on this special occasion, IoT Day 2025. I'm passionate about solving the real world problems with technology, especially where AI meets the communication. So today I'm going to take you on a journey into the world of AI translation, how it's break down the language barriers and enhance IoT systems and even empower the education globally. So let's dive right in. First, tell me how many of you have ever struggled to understand something just because it wasn't in your language. We have all felt that barrier, right? Whether it's trying to understand a device in another language or a lecture in a foreign tongue. Today, I'm going to show you how AI translation is not just helping us communicate, but also transforming how we can interact with smart devices, systems, and even with each other. Okay. So let's start with why. Why does AI translation even matter for IoT? IoT connects billions of devices from smart homes and wearable to industrial machines. But these devices not just collect data, they actually interact with people. And people speak over 7,000 different languages. Imagine trying to manage a smart home or any healthcare device that doesn't speak your language. That's not just inconvenience, it can be dangerous and completely unusable, right? Language should not be a barrier between human and a machine. AI translation allow IoT devices to understand and respond in real time, no matter who you are and where you are from. And so this is where the magic of AI translation comes in bridging that gap. When we think of translation, we often think of subtitles on Netflix, right? But AI translation is way smarter than this guy. It's not simply replacing the words, it's actually understanding the language. It uses learning and NLP uh, to convert not just text, but also speech and even images from one language to another. So, how does it actually work? AI looks at the language patterns, like how words are used in the context and how grammar shifts meanings and even tone, the goal, to create more human-like translation that feel natural and accurate. It's like a way, like teaching a baby to speak dozens of languages, but more faster and smarter, of course, with a perfect memory. That's a bonus. Uh, okay, so let's peek under the hood. How AI actually translates something. It starts with something simple. User types or speaks the message, and that's the input. Then AI breaks that input into smaller parts, kind of cutting a sentence into bricks, and these are called tokens. Think of them as tiny chunks of language. Now come to the smart part, context analysis. This is where the neural network, a digital brain, that tries to figure out what the sentence actually means, not just the words, but the tone, the grammar, and the cultural cues. And finally, based on everything it has learned, then the AI generate a full sentence in a new language that actually makes sense. So from speech to meaning to translation, all in a split second. That's AI. It's actually happened faster than you can just say bonjour. Now let's share something a little more personal. This is Digity, my thesis project, and it was built on just one goal in mind, like to make education understandable and accessible for everyone, no matter what language they speak. Uh, it is actually a AI based system that does the four things, and each part is playing a part in making learning more easier. It takes attendance using face recognition, and it records the professor's lectures in real time, and then it converts those lectures into PDFs automatically. And finally, the best part, it translates the content into the student preferred language. It's like giving students a personalized AI learning assistant that can speak their language. And my slogan was automating notes and empowering minds. And honestly, that's what it's all about. Now, so uh, we have talked about AI translation in some general sense. Now let's break it down. Like it's actually a four types. First, we have text to text. This is what the tools like Google Translate do. You type in a sentence and get the translated version instantly. Speech to text, it's what Siri and Alexa use. You speak it and it write down your words, and even can translate them. Then we have speech to speech. It's the next level, like it's real time voice translation, often used in multilingual meetings or international conferences. And then there is image to text. It's like when you point your phone at a sign in another language, like using Google Lens, or and boom, like it just shows up in your language. Uh, each of these methods, they're already in use, not just in labs, but in our daily life. Actually, AI translation is working quietly in the background and making the world more connected. Uh, let's just take a quick look at the key players that are shaping this field. Google Translate is one of the most well-known. It supports over 100 languages and uses neural machine translation for better flow and accuracy. And DeepL is loved by many linguistics for its contextual accuracy. It really gets the tone and meanings, especially in the European languages. Then there is OpenAI GPT-4. You have probably heard of GPT, right? It's not the dedicated translator, but it really understands the complex language structures like better than almost any tool out there. And Facebook M2M100 model is fascinating. It can translate between 100 plus languages directly, like without relying on English as the middle step. And of course, Microsoft Translator, which is integrated across their Office tools, making it easier for businesses to communicate, globally. So as you can see, AI translation is not the future concept. It's happening right now, and like these are the companies that leading the charge. Uh, then we have some thing, we have seen all the amazing things of AI translation, okay, but it's not perfect, like not yet actually. One of the major challenges is the low resource language, like Pashto it's our regional dialect, um, or any other regional dialects, whether there is just not enough data to train the AI properly. Then we have got idioms and cultural context. I take it's like it's raining cats and dogs. It is translated that like literally you will get the like total nonsense. Then we have the same word with different meanings. For example, bat, is it a animal or a cricket bat? Like context is everything. And languages like Urdu, it bring grammar complexity to the table, right? And the morphology is so rich, but that richness make the translation harder. And finally, the tone and emotion. Like AI can translate the words, but sarcasm and humor and anger. So this is still very human, right? AI is not just a theory. like it's already shaping how we interact with IoT in every day. Take smart home assistants like Alexa or Google Home. They are now able to respond in multiple languages. So you get asked for weather in English, and then your sibling can ask in Spanish. Healthcare devices like wearables, they are not just giving alerts or instructions in user's native language. Even some telehealth platforms are even using AI translation in real time, like for doctor and patient conversation. And customer support, it's another big one. Like many platforms now use chatbots that switch the language instantly, and there's no need to press one for English anymore. But beyond that, we are seeing AI translation emerging in a place like industrial IoT, like helping global teams that understand the machine alerts and smart cities where announcements can be translated instantly in the public or even in emergencies. So whether it's the home, hospital, or on the street, like AI translation is making IoT smarter and more human-like. So where all this headed? What does the future of AI translation look like in the world of IoT? Multimodal translation is a big one, where AI can understand and translate across voice, text, video, and even gestures all at once. Low resource languages sport is evolving fast, bringing underrepresented languages like Pashto or Sindhi, my regional languages, into our digital conversation. Then emotions and tone preservation is it's another exciting frontier. Imagine an AI that does not just translate your word, but also your humor and compassion and sarcasm. Then offline translation will be critical, but especially in remote areas where there's limited internet access. But AI, we need that AI that works without cloud support, you know. And finally, the big dream, universal translator, like something out of science fiction. And we are not too far off. Even now, companies like Google and Meta, they are exploring like AI glasses with real-time subtitle. Like you can understand someone just by looking at them while they speak. It's really something so amazing. Uh, let's just step back a moment. AI isn't just helping us with translation, it's transforming how we work, how we learn, and even live. Right now, AI is it's automating around 21% of human tasks across industries like healthcare, finance, education, customer service, and beyond. Like, think about it like chatbots handling sports and AI tools writing code, system managing inventories, and this platform like mine, like translating the lectures, which help the students to understand that in their own language. So this is just the beginning, and more capabilities like augmented reality, voice recognition, and natural conversation flow evolve. This percentage is expected to climb, potentially like hitting 40% in the next few years. So AI translation isn't just about language, it's a part of global shift in human and machine work together. You know, so to wrap it all up, AI translation is more than just a tech trend. It's revolutionizing the global communication, making sure that no one is left out of the conversation just because of the language. Uh, like from smart homes to smart cities and healthcare to education, and even inside the industrial system, AI translation in making devices smarter and communicating more human. But most importantly, it's making our world more connected and more inclusive, more understandable. Future is not about removing humans from the loop. It's about removing barriers between us. Language does not have to divide us anymore. With AI, it can become the bridge that can unite us. Uh, and that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this sparked some ideas and even maybe a little inspiration for what you will build next. And I hope this gives you a fresh perspective of AI translation, not just as a tool, but as kind of transformative force in like how we communicate, learn, and even connect in IoT world. Even this spark, even one idea for something you want to build or explore or search, I will consider this time together a success. Thank you so much for your attention, your energy, and your curiosity. It would be an honor to be a part of you. Thank you so much, guys.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Fatima. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Awesome. Though I knew about AI translation and that it does translation across different languages and does reduce barriers, you did a very nice job talking about the technology, talking about the challenges and the promise. So I think that was very beautiful. So I appreciate that. So back to you, Mala. So I'm just going to pass it on back to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sudha, for taking over and sharing. So that was great that you could share. Appreciate it. And Fatima, great speech. I would now like to hand it over to Divya. Divya will take it from here.
Thank you so much. I am right now speechless, as in I'm going to talk about something where I was supposed to talk about gender equality, but now after these power-packed conversations done by all the esteemed women, they have done so much work, so much in-depth research, and they've developed so many things around the world for betterment of not only society, but obviously for betterment of human race, I would say. Let me tell you something about myself. I'm Divya Dwivedi. I'm a practicing attorney at Supreme Court of India. I am from holy city Varanasi, but I live in Delhi now. And my work has always been involved something to do with either ethics or morality or spirituality, and everything has to end up doing something or the other about gender equality. Since childhood, it has been somehow been the situation with me. And my professional background involves having understanding of mathematics, engineering, and management combined with law. And later I realized that law was one of the most important connections which established all the formats in one lane, I would say. Whatever we study, whatever we do, whatever we learn, everything has to do with one or the other law, whether we are learning physics, whether we are learning chemistry, mathematics, any other subject whatsoever, or we are developing AI. Let's say we are talking about AI, we are talking about IoT, we are talking about gender equality in the same sentence. We have to understand how they are going to help us, how they have been helping us. Although I have not made a presentation, but I would like to put forward some topics, some thought-provoking things which I encountered while I was practicing, while currently I'm practicing law. There are so many spaces in I would say education space which are missing these technologies, especially in India. If we are talking about reaching to more masses, we have to be very mindful as in what kind of technology we are introducing them to. Why? Because nowadays everyone is absolutely familiar with the fetish, I would say, about using mobile phones. Many a times without realizing how much openly we are giving options for others to enter our private space. I have always been thinking, and I have always been vocal about this fact, that why do we let people enter our private lives on social platforms rather than understanding that when we put locks in our houses, why shouldn't we put locks on our social media platforms and our social lives as well? All of this affects the gender equality part. one has to understand first how gender equality works, why is it very important today, and how it helps us have a better society. What are we doing today? We are talking about so many different aspects of life through development of AI, through development of ethical AI, through development of IoT, through development of language AI, how language can be used in a better fashion, and it will help the society again to raise to a certain standard. Again, coming back to the same point, how gender equality can be achieved. As per my understanding, it the most important aspect of gender equality is one has to have that economic empowerment for with themselves. One has to have that right of deciding where they have to use their finances, how they have to use it. There are times when we see that even though women are earning, but they do not have the right to spend it as they want, because there are so many traditional settings over there that how can you do that? Why is it that if you are earning, you have to spend it yourself? You are supposed to be doing it for the family because you are the one who has to take care of the family, whether you are at home or whether you are at office. Similarly, when we are talking about AI development, I always have figured out this particular aspect of AI, that it is always going to be very helpful in case if we use it in a proper manner to develop it in such a way that it helps bring that particular gender equality aspect in our society. Now, how that can help? It will increase the productivity in any human, any gender whatsoever, male, female, or anyone. It will help have better access to service, better access to justice as well when we talk about law. Now, as a lawyer, as a practicing attorney, I would always come back to the aspects of law. We are trying to get AI acts all around the world. Why are we trying to do that? Because we want to have that particular framework which will make sure that AI remains ethical. Whatever is being developed is remain responsible, remain trustworthy, remain accountable. All of these things are being developed, are being worked upon. Now, how will that help us have gender equality? Again, if it is a responsible AI, then the biases that we saw till date, there is a chance that there will be lesser biases, there will be lesser issues that are related to those biases, because now it is everyone is well aware about the biases that have already entered AI, already entered the system. But now how we take it out is the way we develop it, is the we have to find those ways. So I am here today to talk about the changes that could have been brought in by the advent of AI or IoT and help get gender equality. So I'll bring in another aspect into that, that how we help, how will we get it? Through the legal framework as well. We are supposed to be, as human race, we are supposed to follow laws, rules, and regulations so that there is not a chaos in the society. Similarly, it applies on the AI as well, on the kind of development that we are doing with the technology, the kind of work which we are doing as human race. So if we are bound by those laws, we tend to bring in those laws for them as well. So we have to work in that. Those biases that have entered, we have to think about how to remove them. Now, as I was listening to Yash and Fatima and Sudha and everyone else, everyone was talking about how we are developing it. Yash was talking about explore and exploit option, reward and penalty option as well. Everything works fine in a particular setting. We have to think about variety of settings for the same thing, because if we are developing one product, let's give it a name, A. Let's say a product A is to be developed, it has to be developed on a very global platform. Global platform will have cultural aspects, diversity as well. They will have different standards of gender equality concepts. gender biases, every kind of bias will have a different standard. Similarly, as we have different laws in different jurisdictions, so we have to understand how our laws are developed. Laws are developed based on the kind of culture we are in. Not all laws are based on culture. I'm saying our culture impacts the lawmaking everywhere. Similarly, we have to understand that the development of technology also has to be done in the similar fashion. And that is something which is now talked about, that we have to talk about demographic aspect of AI, cultural aspect of AI, language aspect of AI, everything, but keeping in mind that it does not infringes privacy, it does not affects the bias even more. So how are all these concepts connected? Every concept somehow comes down to the part where we talk about privacy. Why is privacy so important? Because today we are in this particular global tech space where everyone is contributing in one way or the other. So whatever we are developing, let's say as academician, if we are writing papers, we are contributing. Those papers may be used for training an AI. We have to understand the concept that if that is being used over there, what impact it will make. Similarly, it is being bombarded with so much data. Again, privacy becomes a major aspect. India also has become compliant with that. We already have this Data Privacy Act. Now we have to understand why our Data Privacy Act is a little different from all over the world. We as a community have different requirement of the same privacy concept. Now that privacy concept also helps bring in that gender equality that I'm talking about. When we talk about gender equality, when we talk about privacy, not everyone is that easy or open to share their lives. When we are talking in face to face, people do not want to talk. But the moment they are online, they feel like they can share n number of details about themselves without realizing that that may have a very long lasting impact. It may be called a fantasy that data can be deleted. It's always there. If you have put in something in cyberspace, it will remain there. So we have to understand this particular concept around this, that all of this talk will remain only talk till the time we actually take action. And now these amazing ladies, I just love to say that they are actually taking action, because they also have gone through different variety of um, I would say obstacles or challenges, and they have overcome that. So once we do that, we can find a gender equal society. The moment that happens, obviously in kind of dreamland, but if that happens, we'll have a very idle world. Then we'll have idle AI, idle IoT, idle way of developing ourselves. So all of this, but I'm really happy today, and I'm really thankful to Sudha for making sure that we have this IoT day. This is, I think, my fourth year. She has invited me, and I was so amazed that a person is so passionate about bringing the world together, especially women around the world. I really love the way you do it, so that I really wish I can do the same thing someday. But today, when I was about to talk about this gender equality concept, I was like, okay, first of all, I have to thank her, but I missed it. And when she asked me, only thing was in my mind that I need to talk about legal aspects, because everyone else may be talking about what they have developed and how they've developed. But then if you understand why we have to be legally compliant, the moment we do it, similarly, as in laws, it is said that all the genders have to be treated equally. Everyone has equal rights. If we can follow that, if we can have that, then gender equality will not be only a dream. It will become a reality. So once again, I guess I'll stop here, and I'll thank Sudha once again, and thank you so much, all of you, for having amazing presentations. I did not bring any presentation, but I only understood this concept by the way I have been practicing law and the way I have understood the society. So thank you once again for inviting me, and it's an amazing panel to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Divya. I'm going to pass it back to Mala. Mala, are you going to come back on stage, or is it Fatima? And Divya,
Fatima's good. I will take a shot.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I just wanted to add one thing. Thank you for, thanking me, but I feel very humble because there's so many people who are behind this, and I get all the credit. So tomorrow when I do my, the America panel, I'll make sure that I show my whole team. But for this South Asia panel, Fatima is the lead who coordinated the content and with all of you. And Mala has been the point of contact from my team, relentlessly thinking about all possible details. So I would pass on the thank you back to Fatima and Mala for this session.
Thank you. Here we come to the closing. Thank you so much to our incredible panelists like Yashwani, Lekha, Divya, for sharing your thoughts and your passion and your stories, from machine unlearning to language AI and gender equality to real world impacts. I think today's conversation reminded us that technology is not just a code and the system, it's about PPP, people, purpose, and progress. And I hope today's panel sparked some ideas and made you reflective, or simply remind you that your voice belongs to this space. On behalf of South Asia panel, I really thank all of you for joining us. Let's just continue to build and uplift together. And of course, don't forget to explore other beautiful sessions throughout this IoT Day 2025. Thank you so much for all of you for joining us. It was really amazing and nice talking with you. Thank you so much from behalf of South Asia panel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing.